The left has to stand with Palestine regardless of what tactics, what strategies are followed by the Palestinian people.
The left has to stand with Palestine regardless of the tactics, because they're going against Israel, the settler colonizers. Settler colonizer means capitalist.
The left
oppressor,
also
bourgeois, private property
has
owner.
to acknowledge its own history of complicity in this project. Until the launch of the Palestinian revolutionary phase post-1967, for the most part, the Western left had supported Zionism in one form or another. There were exceptions, but unfortunately, there was a lot of complicity. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done to reverse that complicity. When I started my own organizing I'm sorry to say this, I'm going to date myself, about 25 years ago plus, okay? In those days, the left was still not there. In a conference like this, you would have had debates and people questioning. It took a lot of work, including on the part of people here in this distinguished panel, to create a difference and make a change. So now, we're saying this not to do blame, but to say that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, including outside the left. And this means that every socialist out there has to think of this as a long-term commitment. Because anti-colonialism does not work on the short run.
Anti-colonialism means anti-capitalism.
It's a long-term commitment.
Every time you hear colonialism, think capitalism. Anti-colonialism, anti-capitalism.
Another point that needs to be emphasized relates to Palestinian leadership. I hear a lot of debates now about Hamas this, Hamas that, Fatah this, Fatah that. That is not the business of solidarity. And I say it seriously, not because there aren't debates to be had about leadership. We can have those debates, and we do. The reality is that you're in solidarity with a cause, with the people, regardless of what ideological banners it chooses to pursue its anti-colonial practice
because
under.
It's an anti-capitalist solidarity.
It is facing a structure of colonialism. It's a horrific structure. And trust me, in the same way that we've used every strategy and tactic out there, we've also used every ideology in this whole world. Every ideology. From Ottoman notable politics in the early 20th century to different forms of talking about interfaith stuff through the Muslim Christian associations of Palestine, to working with, under leftist banners and Marxism, Leninism, through using local forms of patriotism, pan-Arabism, third worldism, Maoism, the list goes on. And yes, now we have Islamic parties since the 1980s, and in the aftermath of the Iranian Revolution and the Afghanistan war and everything that happened since then. But the one thing that has not changed is that we are an oppressed people fighting for freedom.
That's right.
Oppressed by capitalism. Israel, the settler colonist, means capitalist private
so enough with the
owners,
sophistry,
oppressors.
Including on the part of Palestinians that engage in this sophistry abroad. I'm sorry to say this. Let us stop this nonsense. There's a genocide going on. We stand with the people. We will expose the genocide. Our role in the United States is to mobilize, organize tirelessly until freedom is achieved for Palestine on the pathway for achieving freedom for everyone. Thank you very much.
Yep. We talked about that earlier, Grantee Tim. That's true. They do enforce it too.